Brother Thomas give us some sound on that mic.
Good morning, children. I'd like you to stand up and thank everyone for the dollars they gave you. Let's all stand up and turn toward the congregation. Everyone, turn around and in your best voices say, thank you for the dollars.
Thank you.
The monies the children receive will go to our center at 4144 Broadway to help those who are in need. Today's story is titled Making the Best Choice. Now there's a little boy by the name of Jack. And do you know what his sister's name might be? Jill, exactly. And Jack and Jill were waiting to eat dinner. And Mom and Dad called them. Jack, Jill, come eat. And they both sat down at a table that had lots of good food, lots of good vegetables, lots of nice fruit, just a variety of good, healthy food. And before they ate, what do you think they did? They prayed, exactly. Father, pray to bless the food. Well, as Jack was eating, and as Jill was eating, and the family was eating, Mother heard some paper crinkling. And she was wondering, what is that sound? But she didn't do anything about it. And then later, Dad heard it again, Jill heard it, Mom heard it again. And Mom looked over at Jack, and he had a bag of candy. And he was eating candy out of that bag, candy that he bought at the neighborhood store. And Jill, of course, sat down and she was kind of giggling because she knew he was in trouble. So, and of course, Mom and Dad, they were very disappointed in him. And Mom said, what is that you have, Jack? What is that? And Dad said, and of course, Jack held up the candy bag, and Dad says, where is your self-control? And Jack said, self-control, what is that? And Dad said, being able to choose right from wrong. And then Dad also said, Mom and I allow you to eat candy only at special times, but not for dinner. Do you eat candy for dinner, any of you? No. And candy is not something you should eat a lot of. Well, Jack knew it was the wrong thing to eat candy at dinner instead of just fruits and vegetables. Well, next, Dad took the candy from him. You know, when you have something that you shouldn't have, Mom and Dad comes and gets that, isn't that right? So Dad took it away from him. And Mom told him a story about the Hebrew boys in the book of Daniel who chose to eat vegetables instead of the king's food. Now the king's food had all kinds of variety of foods on the table, some not so good. So what did the Hebrews boys do? They listened to God. Then Dad told a story from the Bible as well. And he told the story of how David could have killed King Saul in the cave. But did he do it? No, because he listened to God. And of course, this was Jill's opportunity to also tell her story from the Bible. And she told the story of Joseph, who said no to Potiphar's wife, who tried to make him do wrong. Jill also said, Jack, that's just like saying no to Satan and yes to God. Then he said, I'm sorry for bringing this candy to the table and eating candy at the wrong time. He looked at the broccoli, the green beans, and the carrots on his plate, and he said to himself, not out loud though, not so bad. But of course he was very curious. And so he decided to find out more about these vegetables that were on his plate. So what do you think he did? How do you learn things in school? You go on your internet or go on various books and read about certain things. So he went on his computer and he looked up carrots, broccoli, green beans, and he found that these have lots of minerals and vitamins inside of them, and they help you grow. He also looked up candy. You know what candy has in it? Lots of sugar. Yes. It has artificial flavors. Sugars, and I'm sure many have artificial flavors, yeah. And lots of things that we don't need to eat, isn't that right? And that sugar gives you quick energy. But is there any nutrition in that sugar? Nah, there's nothing, zero. And so he was so happy for what he learned. And he knew that the broccoli, the vegetables, and all the good fruits would help him grow. And carrots are sweet, like candy, but in a healthy way. And do you know that carrots help you have a good disposition? Something to think about, huh? Well, ever since that day, at the dinner table, Jack decided to go to the neighborhood grocery store on his way back home from school. And what did he buy? A handful of carrots. And he would eat these carrots because he felt that I want to eat healthy. And he says, and they're pretty good. And also, in his heart, he knew that he was saying yes to God's bountiful harvest and no to Satan's temptations of spoiling his dinner by filling up on candy. So there is a scripture in the Bible, Matthew 6:13, that says, and lead us not into temptation. Candy is okay to eat sometimes, but carrots are always good, and all the time, God's candy.